Alright guys, let's carry on where we left off. So we were looking at the deep muscles of the back, lumbar muscles through here, rhomboids there, serratus through there. Before we stick any muscles on top of that, we're going to spin round to the front and look at what we've got at the front. So let me just start by putting in just some sort of mass to approximate, you know, the internal organs, all of this stuff. So this isn't going to be any muscles. So it's just giving me a base to sculpt off of, some sort of canvas to work with. And then I'm going to draw the abs and the obliques on top of that. Then we'll get into looking at the pectoral mass. Okay, so nothing anatomical about this yet. So let's figure out the abs, and our 2D conception for the abs, and a 2D conception will give us most of the way because they're not, you know, particularly three-dimensional form, is that of a finger pointing down or potentially a bullet. It's that sort of idea. Right now it's finishing pretty much at the bottom of the sternum there, but it's covering the arc of the rib cage. That's really important. I think a lot of times people will push this into the rib cage like that, and it's just wrong. It's not what it is. It's very likely that it's going to be pushing forwards from the side through here, and that's coming from the spine pushing forwards. Do we have a spine here? I can't remember. Yeah, we do. So look, the spine itself wants to be going like almost halfway across the body, really diving deep inside the body. So that's then going to have an outward push here. Now, of course, if you've got fat here as well, which the vast majority of us will do, then that's going to push that out further. And what you'll get from the side view is pushes out, 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 and then around the height of the belly button. The belly button is somewhere around the top of the hips. Sometimes people put it, I traditionally put it a bit below, but then I've noticed some other artists, Michelangelo, puts it a bit above. So, you know, whatever works. So it's a fleshy landmark, so it's not anything that we can lock down. So around the top of the hips, you can't go that far wrong. And then you can go with your gut instinct. I think that's a little bit too low, so pull that up a bit. Okay, so anyway, around there we have a break, a little bit lower than that, we have a break that turns back in, and the abdominals are grabbing hold of that point there, the symphysis pubis. The width of the abdominals at their widest is about, they're occupying about half the full mass of the body. So here we need to layer in the obliques, so we're going to get a little bit wider down there, but something like that. If you want to avoid two parallel lines down the side there, which I think that you probably should, you can look at how oftentimes the abs will push out in the middle, something like that. And then, of course, that tapering, the fact that it's coming to a point down there, will help you break the parallel lines as well. There's a little muscle down there called the pyramidalis. I've never seen that in life. I've used it in design sometimes when I want to have, I don't know, something a little bit different, but in an actual living, breathing human being, I've yet to see that. I think it's one of those muscles that some people just don't have. And yeah, so that's the main shape. You need to look at the flatness at the top, the fact that it's covering the rib cage. We may well feel the rib cage pushing through there, something like that. So the presence of the rib cage can be felt, but the ribs are covered by the abs through here. And then all we've got to do is divide it into the amount of, into these separate, parcels. And what I want you to really look to avoid to do is creating a chocolate bar like that, right? So maybe the easiest way of looking at this is we start at the bottom and we go up, something like that. And then we envision that as a kind of square shape, and then from there we go across, and then so we're going from up to across, and then we want to go down, and this top portion here is like a fairly flat portion normally, so something like that. So 3 tendinous bands. There's an extra little break there that some people have, some people don't. Pretty rare that you'd see that in life, because generally the fat store is we have less fat up there and we have more fat down here. So it's likely that what you're seeing in life down here is fat, but you don't need to be Superman to start to get the definition of the 4-pack up there, something like that. So that's the abdominals. The function of them is they're grabbing hold of the rib cage there, grabbing hold of the pelvis down there. They pull the rib cage towards the pelvis, and that's a sit-up, right? Or if the rib cage is locked off, then they'll do the opposite. They'll bring the pelvis towards the rib cage, right? Which would be that movement. And try that, you know, sit on your back, lift your hips up and do that 100 times, and then tell me whether or not you think your abs are active in that movement, because they're probably going to hurt quite a lot. Also, if neither of those points move, what we would call static tension, is the abs will do that, right? Just straighten up. That will compress the whole of that area, and that means that air or solid will come out of the top or will come out of the bottom. So anytime you're expelling something from your body, it doesn't matter which end it is, the abdominals are going to be involved in that movement. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? We will revisit this line through here when we look at the obliques. There's this tendinous band there, the semilunar line. It's a shared line of tendon the abs have with the obliques, and it's a depression in life in the vast majority of us. Even when you're carrying quite a bit of fat, you can normally find that depression there. But we'll revisit that in the next video when we take a look at the obliques.